Good morning. My name is Ed Thompson. I am the FHSAA track and field administrator. Thank you guys for joining us on this regional host Zoom call. Give you guys information leading up into our region meets, which will be next Friday or Saturday. We do have two that are going on down in South Florida on Friday, April 30th, and the rest should be on Saturday across the state. Firstly, I want to say thank you very much for taking on this responsibility. I can tell you this has been it's been really hard to get folks to commit to doing this given the circumstances we're in, and it's huge to have you guys doing that. So thank you, appreciate it. The students owe you one. We're very thankful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just going to go through this memo that everyone should have received on how the whole meet's going to work. And then I'm also going to review a couple of items, one of them being the pay sheets that each school should have received for the officials that were assigned. So you have a little understanding about how that's going. And then there were a couple items that I got from officials that they wanted me to bring up regarding weights and measures and their shells for the starters. So I'm going to share my screen right now. And this one. Okay. I'm sharing that screen. Can everyone see that? There we go. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right, so at the very top here, my contact information is there for you. Feel free to give me a call here in the office or text after hours. You can call my cell phone as well. What I would ask is that you please do not share my cell phone number with any of the coaches that are participating, especially if something happened that adversely affected their team. I greatly appreciate that. We do have a process that's in place this year that should really eliminate any need for you guys to make a call to me. The officials that are going to be working your meets are pretty good, and they have a system in place that's going to work for you that I'll describe here shortly. So that's my contact info. Use it. Feel free to ask questions anytime. I'm happy to assist. I'm here to help you get through it and get through it together. For our timing contractors, or if you're doing in-house timing, please make sure that the results are reported within a couple hours, if not immediately following the meet, as soon as possible. In this packet you received, there is a declaration of non-consideration. That would be for any athlete who did not finish in the top two, but could potentially qualify for an at-large spot. If they do not want to be considered for an at-large spot, they need to sign that form so that we know not to include them in the qualifiers, at least the at-large qualifiers. Athletes or schools cannot opt out of one of the two automatic qualifying spots. They cannot do that. So if they finish top two, they're committed. Please make that clear with this declaration. And as you know, or you may not know, I've only received 2 or 3 of these over the last 3 years that we've been doing this with that large. So you may not have any. The event schedule, the event order prescribed, especially in the running events, that needs to be followed. I've asked each of you guys for any adjustments that you had for venue or you know, some of them we had a date or time depending on what's going on at the venues. If you haven't gotten that stuff to me, please get that to me so I can post that in your packet online for schools that are be participating in your meet. Weather considerations. I know today there's going to be some weather around the state. If we have weather on the region meet date, we'll work together on making the adjustments. The main thing is that plan on finishing the night of. that event. In some cases, folks are traveling a long distance and will not be able to come back, or at least not cheaply. So it's in the interest of everyone that we stay as long as we possibly can to get these meets done. Whether it's all the way up into midnight or maybe even later, I hope not, but we're going to do our best to get through this. The 1600 and the 3200 and our starters and our running referees, our officials will be aware of this. I think this has been done in a couple of districts so far. The games committee, which is you guys and our officials, you can opt to use a one-turn stagger, or you can use in lanes, or you can use a dual alley start in the 16 and the 32. I'll leave that up to you guys. Advancement. Now, this is one of our adjustments that we made due to COVID at the beginning of the season. This was endorsed by the Track and Field Coaches Advisory Committee. The top two in each event will qualify for the state meet. Okay, that's individual events and relay events. All right, that means that if you have any ties resulting in more than two qualifiers, you have to break those ties. They must be broken. Okay. Once all of the region meets are done, we will be able to announce the next 8 in each event. Okay, so we'll have a total of 16 qualifiers in each event at the state meet. Okay. So again, the top two, you got to break ties resulting in more than 2 qualifiers. All of the results will be available on Florida TFRS. Okay, we have a link to that on the FHSAA track and field page and the front page. But all those results are considered official. Nowhere else will you find official results or official marks.
Ed, I got a question.
We're going to do our best to make sure that is all posted by sometime in the morning on May 2nd, especially considering the short turnaround time. Now, field events. This is very important, and I know our officials will make it a point of emphasis. All field events must be measured and reported in metrics. Do not use converted. So I'll reiterate. All field events must be measured and recorded in metrics. Okay, if anything comes in as imperial, and we have ways of checking, if anything comes in an imperial, those marks will advance the top 2 in that event, but nobody else will be eligible for at-large advancement. Okay, basically those will be reverted to no mark. So that could impact the field. Make sure that everything is done in metrics, especially in the verticals. Pole vault, that's an especially important one to ensure is done in metrics. Sharing implements. Okay, this is kind of more of a point of emphasis, but implements checked in for use in a competition shall remain the property of the individual and may not be used by the field without the consent of its owner. I do encourage you guys to provide house implements if available. Okay, in case something breaks, like a javelin may break or a disc may break. Javelins must be rubber tipped. They should be a permanent fixture on the javelin. If they are not, if that rubber tip pops off, that javelin will fail inspection. It must be a permanent fixture. That is NFHS Rule 682, and it's in the note. Region meet hosts are strongly, of course, encouraged to provide house implements if available. You're probably going to end up with folks showing up with rubber discs with chunks out of them. It would be a good idea to provide at least some discs there. The starting heights. Okay, starting heights shall mirror the prescribed increments listed in well, it's in our manual. That number right there. We got a lot of numbers, but the increments are listed in the manual. Please take a look at those. If those increments are not followed, that could be an issue. But follow the increments. The starting height should actually be 1 height below the incoming lowest performance. before I talked about the declaration of non-consideration, this must be done within 30 minutes of the conclusion of the meet. Okay, if it's not received before then we won't be able to accept it because we'll be moving people on. Again, ties. If you have a tie that results in more than 2 qualifiers to the state meet, you got to break that tie. Please break the ties. Non-participants. Now, this is our scratch rule. Okay, at the region meet, because every event, those athletes have qualified for those spots. If somebody no-shows, they get a DNS, they are out the rest of the meet, the rest of the series. They shall not be eligible to compete in any other events. So if there's a DNS, they're out. Need to inform the timer or whoever is running the meet management software to pull them from the meet. And referees will need to keep an eye on this stuff, especially when they see open lanes, if that happens. Hopefully it doesn't. The jury of appeals. Okay, go ahead. Probably after district qualifying is done, so we're probably looking at the latest next week. Look at who you can appoint to the jury of appeals. Understand that the jury of appeals may not set aside any rules. They can't make up stuff. They really only dealing with misapplications of rules. In this case, the setup that we have with our officials, the jury of appeals should probably be unnecessary, but appoint them anyway in case you do need it. All right, number 13. Financial information. We don't take any of the gate. There's no revenue share with FHSAA. We are permitting that you guys charge meet fees to help pay for this event, and I believe that this year especially is probably a year where it'll be most necessary to cover a lot of the costs, because a lot of you guys have limited spectator capacity and such. If you do charge a meet fee, I do need you to complete a financial statement, I guess, an Excel file or something with your expenses and your income, just to show the need. We're going to want some transparency on that, because you guys will be questioned when you send that bill to the schools. So they need to know what they're paying for. Very important. The sportsmanship statement, that should be handled by our meet referees when they attend a pre-meet coaches meeting, if that happens. Basically, you're asking those coaches to ensure that they're in compliance with all the rules and they're properly equipped. The coaches meeting before the meet is not a seating meeting. Okay, you're just giving them the information on disseminating results, the procedures, where the check-in is for each event, where they're clerking running events, where they can go, where they can't go, coaches boxes, etc. That's basically what it's for. Make sure that you emphasize to those folks that the qualifiers will be announced on TFERS Florida. Okay, the officials, you should have received your officials assignment. You should have received your invoice. I'm going to switch over to that what that form looks like as soon as I'm done going through this. Actually, I can do that as soon as I'm done talking about this. Essentially, you should all receive that. Our goal was to provide at least 4 officials. In some cases, we have struggled to get at least 4. In some cases, we're going to have 3. I can assure you that anyone who was assigned 3 officials, those are strong officials, and you'll be handled appropriately. But we assigned those. There's a travel fee that was associated with it. This was supposed to happen last year. Obviously, we didn't finish the year, but this is new and will continue beyond this year. If you would like to hire additional officials, you are more than welcome to do that. We encourage you to reach out to your association's booking commissioner. That would be a separate invoice and deal that you do with them. Okay, what I have sent you guys is what you'll send either to the association or hand them when they arrive on site. Okay, and one check. This is very similar to the process that we follow with our team sports, basketball, football, volleyball, etc., when they pay for crews. Okay, let me go ahead and share that screen. Okay. Let me see. Pull the pay sheet up.
Hey, Ed, quick question.
So that you know what you're looking at. Okay, so this is what the pay sheet looks like, what you should have received. Right now, we're showing the one for Bishop Snyder. So I apologize to Bishop Snyder. You guys are kind of fortunate. You're in an area where you have officials very close by. But you got all your information there. If you need additional information for your bookkeeper, like for instance, I recall it might be a W-9 from the association, depending on whatever your district or school's financial policies are, please reach out to the association listed at the bottom. And in this case, we've got the Bob Hayes track and field officials assigned, got their ID, got their mailing address for their association. The person that you would reach out to is, in this case, is John Corker. He's the booking commissioner for the Bob Hayes. You may be asked to provide separate checks if you for the individual officials that are going to the meet. Do not do that. Cut one check and send it to the association. That is how we operate. If they're asking for cash or anything else, that's a negative. This is the pay sheet that we're providing. In this case, we've got 4 officials. I've got the crew and their names assigned, got their pay rate, all per the official's guidebook, and then their travel fee. The travel fee is in line with what we do with football. They're permitted 2 vehicles, 89 cents per mile. In this case, since it's 2 vehicles, it's $1.78 per mile one way. And then the total check is listed right there. If you have any questions on this, feel free to give me a call. We can talk about any aspect of the pay sheet, but it mirrors a lot of what we do in other sports. So that shouldn't be too much trouble to get through. Okay, going back to the memo, and hopefully everyone sees it because I just switched it. This highlighted item, it may be even more important this year, and it's an important tool for our officials that are working the meet, because we want to make sure that we get these decisions correct, especially in our running events, with limited numbers of officials and how spread out we are with our meets. This is really important. We're asking that our region host provide an official camera, designated camera, which is in compliance with NFHS rules, to film each race. Okay, this footage may be used by the meet referees to assist in making rulings. For instance, an out of the zone call, an interference call, hurdling infractions, or anything to that effect. Only the referees are authorized to view the footage from the camera. Okay, if a coach asks to see it, the answer is no. And that's backed up in the rules. It's also in the case book if you've had a chance to take a look at that. Only the referees are allowed to view that film. Moving on, if you have any updated information, please send it to me. If you have a host packet that you would like, information packet with your event schedule and any other specific considerations for your meet, please send it to me, put it in a PDF so I can post it on the website and I'll have it linked. Otherwise, you're going to be inundated with tons of calls about what's going on. Our souvenir merchandise, Team IP may be on site to provide our partner t-shirts and things of that sort. And then if you have anyone who's looking to come and perhaps broadcast this event, please contact me directly and I can work with you in getting that approved or getting them approved. Currently this year, Mile Split The folks at Florida Runners and Flow Sports have reached out and gotten rights to a number of our events at the region level. So they should be reaching out to you directly on that if they haven't already. If they haven't, don't sweat it. Okay, I'm going to mention these two things because officials asked me to mention this. Go back to the screen here. Weights and measures. Our officials associations, in cases, most associations have at least one set of weights and measures. Some have more. Please coordinate with the officials assigned to your meet to get the weights and measures handled. If you don't have a weights and measures set up, reach out to schools in your area that may be participating that may have it, so that we can get this done. We want to make sure that the implement inspection is done appropriately. And this is even more important because we don't want any of these qualifiers to get to the state meet and then find out there that their implements are not legal. It's really important that we at the very least get this done at your level. The other item I was asked to bring up had to do with shells for the starters. That was not included in the officials assignments, the invoice. I would ask that you guys coordinate with the officials assigned on what the arrangement's going to be for paying for the shells. The 32s, I don't know if the price has gone up, but my understanding is that last I checked, they were about $50 for a box of 50, so $1 a shell. I could be wrong on that. I haven't bought them in a couple of years because I've switched to Ram sets, but please get with your starters or your officials that, you at the very least have them on site and find out who's going to cover the cost for that. Now I see that 4 more folks have joined, so I'm going to promote them and then I'll open it up to some questions if you have any. Okay, so if you have any questions, shoot. You can unmute yourself and maybe turn on your video. If not, you don't have to turn on your video.
Hey, Ed, Bart Weiss from CSN. Can you hear me?
Anybody?
Ed, can you hear me? Bart
Yeah,
Weiss.
I got you, Bart.
Okay. On the entry fee stuff, when you're talking about so regional meets a lot different than normal meets because pretty much you have to qualify to get to regions. And then your garden variety thing said, 1 or 2 people, it's like $10 per person. And then if it's 3 or more, it's $30. Can you explain that?
Yes. In the last 2 or 3 years, we've allowed our region meets, our region hosts to charge a fee if they had expenses. I'll throw South Florida out there as an example. They have an arrangement where they have to hire school district police and security. So those expenses are much higher. Others don't have those constraints within their school districts. But generally speaking, costs like that, awards, it's been capped at $30 per gender per school. So, and if you had less than 3, then it was $10 a head. If you have expenses that are exceeding that, and we do have instances this year, especially with the limited capacity, if there's a strong concern about being able to break even, let's talk individually about an adjusted meet fee if necessary, because I think that's important. I mean, you guys are doing all the work. I do not want you to lose your butts on this because that would be wrong, frankly.
Yeah, because with the added expense of, for instance, not only officials, any other additional setup stuff, the video system, I mean, that's $400 or $500. Stuff keeps adding up on us. And so do we want to get this invoice out ahead of the meet, or is it something we do after the meet?
Well, it depends on how you want to approach it. You could do it on the back end based on on each school's qualifiers. Or you could, tell them ahead of time. I actually kind of think that it might be a good idea to find out how many kids are qualified from each school and base it on that.
Okay. Thanks.
And what I would say is make sure that they know it's coming on the
Okay.
front end. Yeah.
All right.
Anyone else?
I had a question from a coach that emailed me,
Okay.
and he wanted to know if we don't have any para athletes or handicapped athletes, do we still stick to the schedule, or is there an alternate schedule if those athletes aren't competing?
Great question. What we're going to allow is if there are no para athletes in the meet, you can bump those events up in the running order. Meaning you don't have to stick to the common time schedule.
And I just also wanted to know,
Okay.
as far as awards, are we, is it common to do first through third medals, or because only the top two are going, is it
Sure.
1 and 2, or what are we supposed to order?
Sure. The individual awards are really at your discretion. I would say that it's you do need to have the team trophies, of course, from Crown. There are 8 scoring places, so you can do medals for the top 3 and ribbons for the last 5, or something to that effect. Something for the scoring places would be good. I would look at it as what would you expect your kids to earn from a meet like this? Think about it that way.
What we've done in the past and what we're doing right now, the FHSAA used to give out 8 ribbons. So I've got a local shop. I give them the FHSAA logo. They put it on there. And then I've got 8 ribbons with the FHSAA logo. It says class 4A region 1. And then everybody's taken care of, along with the 2 trophies for each.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. Lionel, did you have anything you wanted to add from the official side? I see that you're on here.
No, I think you've covered everything.
Okay. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, really appreciate you guys getting on here. This meeting is being recorded, so as soon as I get it uploaded onto YouTube, I'll send that link out to you guys, and you can feel free to share it with your folks. I'm going to share it with our officials, yeah. Again, if there's anything else, feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email. I'm happy to assist. I'm here to help you, especially on meet day. There are issues, we will work through it and we'll get it done. There should be no panicking. Just take a deep breath. We'll get through it. You guys have the smallest and probably the easiest meet of the year to do for state series. So if you're doing a district, well, this is going to be way better. So thank you all again for joining me. And again, reach out if you need me. All right, guys, take care.